Hello, this is David Yoseph Schreiber coming to you from Israel. I'd like to talk to you about Kabala, beginning of a new series, I hope. And the first subject I would like to go over is mentioning the 10 Sefiros. Now, they are a major theme in Kabbalah. Now, the way that it starts is with God, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, who is infinite, transcends time, fills the universe, concealed and recondite. Now, when he decided to make the world, among the first things he did, what was his process, is he created the 10 Sefiros. Now, the 10 Sefiros related to God is like, so to speak, God created for himself clothes. Or they are as part of God as a beard is part of a human being, part of a man. Not quite his body, but not quite different. And the body that he created in some ways resembles a human body. It's an inaccurate and imprecise metaphor, but nevertheless, it does serve a purpose of illustration. Now, what it means is that HaKadosh Baruch Hu created a head, so to speak, but he relates to his head the way that we relate to a hat. And he created arms, but he relates to his arms the way that we relate to gloves. And he created hips. Now, in this case, it's important to remember that when studying Kabbalah, the metaphor of human reproduction, procreation, is a central metaphor very often. So in the case of the hips, he relates to that like a man would relate to a jock. Also, it's the idea of the organs of procreation. He relates to his feet the way that a man would relate to shoes. Okay? And from this, all existence sprung out. And this is how God manages and relates to the world. Okay? Now I'd like to mention the 10 Sefiros, giving a brief description. Okay, the first one is Keter, or literally means crown, and what it is that, so to speak, it's the soul of a person. It, like a crown, it surrounds and is above his head, and like the soul is the idea that it's a little piece of God, and it's a person's attachment to God. After that, you have Chachma, which is like the brain or the head, wisdom. Then Bina, that's understanding. The heart. Okay, the difference between Chachma is basically Chachma is facts. Bina is relationships. Then Chabad often and others put in Das, judgment. Some in the classical Kabbalah, it's not included. Then you have what you could say are the 7 or 6 corners, the emotional spheres. The first 3 are, shall we say, the intellectual spheres. Chesed, which is kindness. Gevura, which is strength, but it's derived from Gedola, greatness. Then you have Tiferes, which is beauty, okay, the torso, nice shape. Netzach, now Netzach has 2 slightly different meanings. One is it means victory. The other is it's permanence. The idea basically are what are the things that we consider permanent, or how is it that, what are the tools that we use to prevail in a given situation? That's netzach, a lasting victory. Then you have yesod, that's like the hips, that's a person's fundamental principles, his basics. Then you have malchut. Malchut is often translated as kingdom. The Ptach Eliyahu compares it to the mouth, the idea meaning that what makes a king is his ability to command, his words, his speech, his deeds, what comes out of his mouth. The more Kabbalistic idea is what type of world do we create for ourselves? What are our homes and our life that we have total control of? Okay? And those are the basic spheres, so to speak, the souls of all men, and the creation all springs from them. And this is how God, one of the ways that God controls and supervises over the whole world. Thank you. Shalom, shalom.